Chromatography. Chromatography is a technique used to separate the components of a mixture to identify organic substances and examine their purity. Classification of chromatography: adsorption chromatography, partition chromatography. Adsorption chromatography. Adsorption chromatography is based on differential absorption, that is, different compounds are absorbed on adsorbent such as solid SiO2 gel or Al2O3 to different extent. Based on differential adsorption, there are two types: column chromatography and thin layer chromatography. Column chromatography. It is the process in which the mixture of various components, when passed through a column containing an adsorbent such as starch or charcoal, the different substances are absorbed to different degrees and thus they can be separated with the help of suitable solvent called eluent. Thin layer chromatography. It involves the spreading of the thin layer of adsorbent on a suitable support such as glass plate, etc. The glass plate is known as thin layer chromatography plate or chroma plate. The mixture to be separated is applied as a small spot from one end of the TLC plate. The glass plate is then placed in a closed jar which contains the solvent. As the solvent moves up in the jar, the components of the mixture move up along the plate to different distances depending on their degree of adsorption, and separation takes place. The relative adsorption of each component of the mixture is expressed by retention factor, that is RF value, which can be given as RF is equal to distance moved by the substance from the baseline by distance moved by the solvent from the baseline. Partition chromatography. Partition chromatography is a paper chromatography in which a special quality paper known as chromatography paper is used. Chromatography paper contains water trapped in it, which acts as the stationary phase. The chromatography paper is placed at the base with the mixture of solvents. The solvent acts as mobile phase. The solvent rises up in the paper and flows over the spot. The different components are separated according to their differing partition in the two phases. The developed paper strip is known as chromatogram. The colorless compounds may be observed either under UV light or by the use of an appropriate spray reagent. Qualitative analysis of organic compounds. Detection of carbon and hydrogen. Carbon and hydrogen are detected by heating the organic compound strongly with copper-2 oxide. The produced gases are passed through anhydrous copper sulfate and then passed into lime water in a test tube. If carbon is present, then it forms carbon dioxide, which turns the lime water milky. The reactions are as follows. Carbon inorganic compound reacts with copper-2 oxide and produces copper and carbon dioxide. The produced carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide, which turns it milky, indicating the presence of carbon in organic compound. If hydrogen is present in the organic compound, then it forms water vapor, which passed over copper anhydrous sulfate turns it blue by forming CuSO4 5H2O. The reactions are as follows. Hydrogen inorganic compound reacts with copper-2 oxide and produces copper and water. The produced water reacts with anhydrous copper sulfate, which turns blue by forming CuSO4 5H2O. Detection of other elements. Other elements such as nitrogen, sulfur, halogens and phosphorus in the organic compound can be detected by Lasigene's test. The elements in the organic compound fuse with the sodium metal. The reactions are as follows. When sodium reacts with various elements found in the organic compounds, then it forms sodium fusion extract. Test for nitrogen. On addition of ferrous sulfate to sodium extract, that is sodium cyanide, it produces sodium ferrocyanide. The ferric ions generated during the process react with ferrocyanide to form blue precipitate of ferric ferrocyanide. Test for sulfur. If sulfur is present in the organic compound, then it can be identified by the reaction of sodium fusion, that is sodium sulfide Na2S with sodium nitroprusside. Then, violet color indicates the presence of sulfur.